We see Wanda practically stumbling through the rain outside Janelle's restaurant in Chicago, her feet screaming in shoes that should have been replaced 2 months ago because she's been funneling every extra dollar into her sister's medication. She's clutching her tips, $340 that must cover Amara's prescription refill this week, completely panicking because her taxi just texted saying it's stuck in traffic on Michigan Avenue. That's when she spots what looks like her ride. A sleek black sedan with its hazards on, engine running, license plate ending in what she thinks are the same 3 digits from her taxi confirmation, 847. Without thinking twice, she yanks open the back door and throws herself inside, gasping with relief. The driver doesn't turn around. He's wearing a black cap pulled low over his face, in a crisp white shirt under what looks like an expensive suit jacket. She assumes he's just one of those fancy rideshare services trying to look professional. "Sorry I'm late," she mutters, still catching her breath. "Randolph Street, the corner building near the L station." He says nothing, just pulls smoothly into traffic with the kind of practiced ease that suggests he's done this 1,000 times. Wanda leans her head back against the leather seat. Real leather, she notes, way nicer than any cab she's ever been in, and closes her eyes for just a moment. When she opens them 15 minutes later, they're not heading toward her South Side neighborhood. They're on Lakeshore Drive, heading north toward the Gold Coast, where penthouses cost more than she'll make in 10 years. The rain is coming down harder now, and through the water-streaked windows she can see the glittering lights of million-dollar condos. That's when the driver finally turns around, and Wanda sees his face for the first time. Sharp, aristocratic features that belong on magazine covers, intense dark eyes studying her with a mixture of surprise and something else she can't quite read. "I believe," he says in a precise Japanese accent that carries both authority and the faintest hint of amusement. "There's been a misunderstanding." Wanda's stomach drops. This isn't her taxi driver. This isn't even close. Before she can stammer out an apology and demand to be let out, her phone buzzes with a text from her actual taxi. "Sorry, canceled due to weather. Refund processing." She stares at the screen, then at the man behind the wheel, then at the license plate visible in the rearview camera display. 8A7. Not 847. She misread it in the rain and desperation. "Oh my God," she breathes. "I'm so sorry. I thought the plate looked like I can get out right now, just pull over anywhere." But the man is already shaking his head, and there's something in his expression that makes her pause. It's not anger. It's more like calculation. "Actually," he says slowly, adjusting his cap, "this might work out perfectly for both of us." He glances at something in his rearview mirror and his jaw tightens. "Don't look back, but there's a black SUV following us. Has been since we left the restaurant. My security team thinks you're someone I'm trying to keep secret." Wanda's heart starts hammering. "Your security team? What are you? Some kind of CEO?" He interrupts. And there's a flash of something that might be a smile. "Honda Kenshin, Honda Industries. And right now, you being in my car is the perfect excuse for why I'm not at the party my father is hosting tonight." He takes a turn that definitely isn't toward her address, heading deeper into the Gold Coast. "My father's been trying to arrange a marriage for me for 6 months. The woman they've chosen is lovely, but it's a business arrangement, not a relationship. When my security saw you get in, they assumed you were the reason I've been avoiding family obligations." Wanda grips her tote bag tighter, her tip still clutched in one hand. "So you're just going with it? Pretending I'm your girlfriend or something?" Kenshin meets her eyes in the mirror, and she sees exhaustion there that matches her own. Different circumstances, same bone-deep weariness. "Actually," he says, and now there's definitely amusement in his voice, "they think you're my fiancée, the secret one I've been hiding to avoid the arranged marriage." He pauses at a red light, the rain drumming on the roof. I know this is insane. I know you have no reason to help me, but if you play along for just tonight, long enough for me to convince my father I'm serious about someone else, I'll pay you. Name your price. Wanda laughs, but it comes out slightly hysterical. Her sister needs medication. The hospital bill from last month is still sitting on her kitchen counter. Her landlord just raised the rent. And this man, this billionaire CEO in a designer suit who's apparently running from his own family obligations, is offering her money to pretend to be his fiancée for one night. This is insane, she says, but she's already doing the math. One night. Whatever he pays could cover Amara's next 3 prescriptions. Maybe 4. How much are we talking? Kenshin's lips quirk into what might be a smile. How much do you need? And just like that, Wanda realizes her life just got infinitely more complicated than a missed taxi. If this story already has you hooked, go ahead and subscribe so you don't miss what happens next. This is about to get wild. So now Wanda is sitting in this billionaire's car trying to process that she accidentally became a fake fiancé to a complete stranger. And all she wanted was to get home before Amara ran out of her evening medication. Kenshin is driving like he does this every day, which, given the whole escaping family party thing, he might actually do regularly. And Wanda is having a full internal meltdown. She finally speaks up, her voice shaking slightly. Look, I appreciate the job offer, I guess. But I really need to get home. My sister, she's waiting for her medication, and I can't just disappear into some billionaire's drama without at least telling her I'm not dead in a ditch somewhere. Kenshin glances at her in the mirror again, and this time she notices he has the kind of face that belongs in those Japanese dramas her coworker Min-jun is always talking about, which is absolutely not helping her focus on the surreal situation she's found herself in. Where does your sister live? He asks, and his voice has this calm, measured quality that somehow makes her panic worse, because it suggests this is all perfectly normal to him. Wanda rattles off her address on the south side, and Kenshin nods once before making a turn that definitely isn't toward her neighborhood. The SUV is still following them, she notices, keeping a careful distance, but always there in the side mirror. We have a problem, he says evenly, like he's discussing the weather instead of whatever mess they're currently in. Those men in the SUV, they're not just my security. My father sent them to make sure I actually show up to important family events. If I drop you off at your actual address right now, they'll investigate you. They'll find out you're a waitress from the South Side who got in my car by accident. And then they'll know I lied about having a secret relationship. Wanda feels her stomach drop to her feet. So what are you saying? Kenshin's hands tighten almost imperceptibly on the steering wheel, the only sign that he's not as calm as he's pretending to be. I'm saying you'd need to come back to my place for a few hours, just until I can convince them this is real. Make a few calls where they can hear you. Act comfortable in my apartment. Maybe stay for dinner. He pauses, and when he speaks again, there's something that sounds almost like apology in his voice. I'll compensate you for your time, and I'll have someone deliver your sister's medication personally. Same driver I use for my mother's prescriptions. He's discreet and reliable. Wanda laughs, but there's no humor in it, just the edge of hysteria creeping in. I don't want your money. Well, no, that's a lie. I desperately want your money because my sister has a disease that's slowly bankrupting us, but I also want to not be involved in whatever high-stakes arranged marriage drama this is turning out to be. But even as she says it, she knows she's already calculating. If he pays enough to cover the medication delivery, plus the time she's missing from her overnight shift at the diner, plus a little extra for the sheer insanity of this situation, she could pay down the hospital bill. Maybe even buy Amara those new textbooks she needs for her online classes. They pull up to a building that looks like it costs more per month than Wanda's entire yearly salary, and she feels completely out of her depth. The lobby has actual marble columns, There's a doorman in a uniform that probably costs more than her rent. Kenshin parks in an underground garage that requires 3 different security checkpoints: keycard, biometric scan, and a nod from a guard who looks like he could bench press her car. Wanda follows him to an elevator that only has one button. Just one. For the penthouse. "You live in a building where the elevator only goes to your floor?" she hears herself ask. Because apparently her brain has decided to focus on architectural details instead of the fact that she's possibly being kidnapped by a very polite billionaire. Kenshin's mouth twitches. "It's more secure this way. And it means I don't have to make small talk with neighbors." The elevator doors open directly into his apartment, and Wanda has to physically stop herself from gasping out loud. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlook the entire Chicago skyline. The rain is still coming down, and the city lights reflect off the glass like scattered diamonds. The furniture looks like it belongs in a design magazine. All clean lines and expensive fabrics, the kind of stuff you're not supposed to actually sit on. There's a grand piano in the corner, covered with a sheet like it's been forgotten. Everything is pristine, perfect, silent and utterly impersonal. "Make yourself comfortable," Kenshin says, pulling off his cap and running a hand through hair that immediately falls into perfect disarray. He loosens his collar, and Wanda catches the glint of a watch that definitely costs more than her car. "I'll have my assistant bring your sister's medication within the hour, and I'll arrange for some dinner. You haven't eaten, have you?" The question catches her off guard because no, she hasn't eaten since her break at 6 p.m., and it's now past 2 a.m. Her stomach chooses that moment to growl audibly. Kenshin's expression softens just slightly. "I'll take that as a no." He studies her face, and she has the uncomfortable feeling of being really seen for the first time in months. Not as a waitress, not as a sister carrying impossible weight, but as a person who's exhausted and scared and trying desperately not to show it. "You're not going to call the police or do something dramatic, are you?" he asks, and there's genuine curiosity in his voice. Wanda gives him a look that could melt steel. "I'm from the south side of Chicago. We don't call the cops unless someone's actively dying, and even then, we think twice." She sets her bag down carefully on what looks like a very expensive couch, her tips still clutched protectively. "But I am going to need you to explain exactly what I just got pulled into, because this feels like the opening scene of a really weird movie." Kenshin almost smiles at that, and Wanda notices he has a small scar near his left eyebrow that somehow makes him look less like an untouchable CEO and more like an actual person. "It's complicated," he starts, moving toward what she assumes is the kitchen. But before he can continue, the private elevator dings again. Both of them turn as a woman steps out, mid-50s, elegant in a way that speaks of old money and classical training, wearing a dress that probably costs more than Wanda's entire wardrobe. She stops dead when she sees Wanda, her eyes going wide. "Kenshin," she says in Japanese, her voice sharp with surprise and something else Wanda can't quite identify. "Who is this?" Kenshin's entire posture changes, straightens, becomes more formal, more guarded. "Mother," he replies, switching to English. "This is Wanda Zuri. Wanda, this is my mother, Honda Ayame." The woman's eyes sweep over Wanda with the kind of assessing gaze that takes in everything. The stained waitress uniform, the worn shoes, the calloused hands clutching a grocery store tote bag. But what she focuses on, weirdly, are Wanda's hands. She moves closer, and Wanda has to resist the urge to step back. "You're a musician," Ayame says, and it's not a question. She reaches out, and before Wanda can pull away, takes one of her hands, examining the calluses on her fingers. But these aren't the right calluses. These are from manual labor, from carrying trays and scrubbing dishes and working 3 jobs. Except Wanda's fingertips also have the ghost of older calluses, the kind you get from years of piano practice. Ayame's eyes snap to Wanda's face. You trained, she says, still in that certain voice. Seriously. What happened? And Wanda feels her heart start racing for an entirely different reason than the fake engagement drama, because this woman, this world-famous pianist whose concerts sell out Carnegie Hall, has just identified in 10 seconds the secret Wanda has been trying to bury for 5 years. I don't know what you're talking about, Wanda says, but her voice comes out wrong, too defensive. Ayami's expression shifts into something calculating, almost predatory. She turns to her son. Where did you find her? Kenshin steps forward, placing himself slightly between them in a gesture that feels protective. She got into my car by mistake tonight. Wrong taxi. The security team assumed that she's your secret relationship, Ayami finishes, and now she's looking at Wanda with renewed interest. How convenient for you, Kenshin. And conveniently timed to help you avoid the Tanaka arrangement. She turns back to Wanda. What did he offer you? Money? I'll triple it if you tell me the truth about your training. Wanda's jaw drops. I'm not. This isn't. She looks at Kenshin helplessly, then back at his mother. I literally got in the wrong car 2 hours ago because I misread a license plate in the rain. I'm a waitress. I work at Janelli's and Lou's Diner, and I pick up shifts at the hotel on weekends. That's it. There's no conspiracy here. But Ayami is already pulling out her phone, typing something rapidly. We'll see about that, she says. She looks at her son. I hope for your sake this is exactly what it appears to be. A desperate, transparent attempt to avoid your responsibilities. Because if it's something more... She doesn't finish the threat. Just sweeps back toward the elevator. As the doors close, Wanda sinks onto the expensive couch, her legs suddenly unable to hold her up anymore. What? She says slowly. Was that? Kenshin runs both hands through his hair, destroying the careful perfection. That was my mother realizing I might actually have found someone on my own, which threatens her entire carefully orchestrated plan for my life. He looks at Wanda, and there's something like apology in his expression. I should have warned you. She's persistent. Wanda laughs, and it's definitely hysterical this time. Your mother is terrifying. Also, she definitely knows I used to play piano, which is impossible because I haven't touched a keyboard in 5 years, and I have no idea how she could tell from looking at my hands for 10 seconds. Kenshin moves to sit across from her, and for the first time, she sees real interest in his expression. You played piano? Not important, Wanda says quickly, because she can't think about that right now. Can't think about Juilliard and her mother's dreams, and all the things she buried when the medical bills started piling up. What's important is that your terrifying mother definitely doesn't believe this is real, and she's probably already hiring investigators to figure out everything about me, and I really, really need to call my sister. Kenshin nods and pulls out his phone, handing it to her. Use this. More secure than yours right now. And as Wanda takes the phone, feeling the weight of the expensive device in her hand, she realizes 2 things simultaneously. 1, she's in way deeper than one night of playing pretend. And 2, Honda Ayami definitely knows something about her past that Wanda thought she'd left buried forever. This was supposed to be simple. Wrong car, quick fix, easy money. But nothing about Kenshin's world is simple. And Wanda has the sinking feeling that by morning, her carefully constructed life of survival and sacrifice is going to be completely upended. She just doesn't know yet that it's going to be the best mistake she's ever made. After Ayami's departure, Wanda's hands won't stop shaking. Kenshin pours her tea she doesn't drink, offers food she can't eat. The security chief, Takashi, built like a tank with eyes that miss nothing, arrives within minutes. He takes one look at Wanda in her stained uniform and nods, like this confirms everything he suspected. So it's true. You've been hiding her. His voice carries approval, not accusation. Kenshin doesn't correct him. Wanda watches the lie solidify, watches Takashi bow slightly to her like she's someone who matters. "We'll handle the Tanaka situation discreetly, sir. Your father will be difficult, but this changes everything." After Takashi leaves, Wanda finally finds her voice. "You just let him think we're together. Really together." Kenshin meets her eyes. "I need 1 month. 30 days to convince my father this is real enough that he'll call off the arranged marriage. After that, we stage a quiet breakup. You walk away with enough money to cover several months of your sister's medication and medical bills." He pauses. "What do you need to make this work?" The question catches her off guard. This isn't an offer yet. He's asking what she needs before naming a price. Wanda thinks about Amara's prescriptions, the hospital bills, the rent increase. $5,000, she says, the number feeling both enormous and insufficient. "Enough to cover 3 months of medication and bills while I figure out what comes next." Kenshin's expression doesn't change. "I'll give you 10,000. And I won't ask for anything you're not comfortable with. You set the boundaries." Wanda's about to respond when the massive TV on the wall flickers to life, some automated news alert. The headline makes her blood run cold. "Honda Industries, heir expected to announce engagement to Tanaka Corp heiress soon." There's a photo of a beautiful Japanese woman in an elegant dress, smiling at the camera. Sakura Tanaka. The woman Kenshin is supposed to marry. Kenshin stares at the screen, his composed mask finally cracking. "My father has been planning this for months," he says quietly. "The merger between our companies depends on this family alliance. 10,000 employees are counting on me to do my duty." He looks at Wanda. "Will you help me?" And Wanda, thinking of Amara, thinking of 5 years of drowning in debt, thinking of the bills that never stop coming, nods. She doesn't know she just agreed to destroy her entire life as she knows it. 3 days later, Wanda stands in front of a mirror, wearing a dress that costs more than 3 months of rent. Midnight blue silk that fits like it was made for her, because it was, measured and sewn in 48 hours by Kenshin's personal tailor. Her natural hair is styled by someone who actually knows what they're doing. Her makeup applied by professionals who treated her like she belonged in this world. She doesn't recognize herself. "You look terrified," Kenshin says from the doorway, devastating in a black tuxedo. "That's because I am terrified," Wanda shoots back. "I'm a waitress from the South Side about to walk into a room full of billionaires and pretend I belong there." The charity gala is everything she feared. Crystal chandeliers, champagne that probably costs more per glass than her hourly wage, live people dripping in jewelry that could fund Amara's medication for years. Kenshin keeps his hand on the small of her back, guiding her through conversations where everyone wants to know who she is, where she came from. She sticks to the script they practiced. Old college friend, reconnected recently, keeping things private. The lies taste like ash. Then the crowd parts, and Wanda sees her. Honda Ayame, legendary pianist, moving through the room like royalty. She's even more intimidating in formal wear, her presence commanding attention without effort. Their eyes meet across the space, and Ayame's expression shifts into something predatory. She approaches with the inevitability of a storm. "Miss Zuri, how lovely to see you again." The words are polite. The tone is arctic. Before Wanda can respond, Ayami takes her hand in greeting, and Wanda feels those pianist's fingers examining her calluses like a medical diagnosis. The conversation around them continues, but Ayami's eyes have gone sharp, focused. "You have a musician's hands," she says, loud enough for nearby guests to hear. Wanda's throat closes. "I don't know what you mean." "Don't you?" Ayami's grip tightens. "These calluses here, on your fingertips, they're from piano keys. But these others, they're from manual labor. Interesting combination." She tilts her head. "Where did you train?" Wanda pulls her hand back, heart hammering. I played piano as a child, nothing serious. The lie is terrible, transparent. Ayame's smile is cold as winter. I see. And where exactly did you and my son meet? Each question is a scalpel, cutting through the carefully constructed story. Kenshin tries to intervene, but his mother ignores him. I'm simply curious about the woman who's captured my son's attention, so suddenly, people are watching now. Phones are definitely out, recording this interaction. Wanda can feel the walls closing in. We met through mutual friends, she manages. It wasn't anything dramatic. Ayame laughs, and it's not a kind sound. No, how disappointing. I do hope you'll play for us sometime, Miss Zuri. I'd love to hear your childhood training. She leans in close enough that only Wanda can hear. I'm going to discover the truth about you, my dear. Every single detail. And when I do, we'll have a very different conversation. She pulls back, all gracious smiles for the cameras. Enjoy the evening. As she walks away, Wanda realizes she's trembling. Kenshin's hand finds hers. She's bluffing, he whispers. But they both know she's not. And Wanda's past. The Juilliard scholarship, her mother's death, 5 years of running from music, is about to be dragged into the light whether she's ready or not. Wanda wakes to her phone exploding with notifications, hundreds of them. She grabs it with sleep-heavy hands and her stomach drops. She's on every gossip site, every social media platform, every news outlet. Billionaire CEO's mystery woman screams the headline above a photo of her in that blue dress, looking at Kenshin like he hung the moon. She looks beautiful. She looks in love. She looks like everything she's spent 5 years trying not to be. Visible. Over the next few hours, the calls start coming. First, her boss at Gianelli's, apologetic but firm. Corporate doesn't want the attention. Then Lou's Diner fires her over text. The hotel sends an email by afternoon. 3 jobs, gone before lunch. Her coworkers from Gianelli's blow up the group chat she hasn't checked in days. Did you really hook up with a billionaire while working for minimum wage? Were you just slumming it with us? Must be nice to have a sugar daddy. The messages cut deeper than the job losses. These were her people, the ones who understood the grind, who covered shifts when Amara was sick. Now they think she was playing them, pretending to struggle while secretly dating a CEO. Then Amara calls. Wanda almost doesn't answer. You want to tell me? Her sister's voice is tight with hurt. Why I'm seeing your face on entertainment news right now. Why my friends are asking if my sister is really dating some Japanese billionaire. Wanda closes her eyes. Amara, I can explain. You told me you were working overtime. You said you picked up extra shifts to cover my medication. Amara's crying now. Were you with him while I was alone, worried you'd collapse from exhaustion? Were you in penthouses while I thought you were washing dishes? It's not like that. Wanda starts, but Amara cuts her off. Then what's it like, Wanda? Because from where I'm sitting, it looks like you've been living some secret life while lying to my face. The call ends. Wanda tries calling back. Blocked. She's still sitting there, numb, when Kenshin finds her. He takes one look at her face and knows. The photos went viral, she whispers. I lost all my jobs. My sister won't talk to me. I can't go home. There are photographers outside my building. I checked. The tears start falling and she can't stop them. I have nothing left. No job. No home I can safely return to. A sister who hates me. All I have is this lie. Kenshin kneels in front of her. Stay here. I'll arrange security for your building. Make sure Amara's safe. We'll fix this. But his phone is already ringing. Takashi, reporting that news vans are parked outside Wanda's apartment, that Amara had to be escorted through a crowd of reporters asking about her sister's mystery romance. Wanda laughs, but it's hollow. Fix it? I'm trapped. I can't work, can't go home, can't even talk to my sister without her thinking I'm a liar. She looks at Kenshin. The only thing I have left is this fake relationship, so I guess you've got me for your 30 days. I've got nowhere else to go. The dependency tastes like poison. She came into this with leverage, her ability to walk away. Now she's locked in a golden cage, and they both know it. And somewhere in Tokyo, Honda Ayame is smiling, because a woman with nothing to lose is exactly what she needs to destroy this relationship before it destroys her son's future. Wanda can't sleep. The penthouse is too quiet, too perfect. At 3 a.m., she gives up and wanders through rooms that could fit her entire apartment complex. That's when she finds it. A door she hadn't noticed, slightly ajar. Inside is a music room. The Steinway grand piano dominates the space, its dark wood gleaming under dim lights. A white sheet lies draped over the bench. Someone started to cover it but gave up halfway. Wanda's fingers itch. She hasn't touched a piano since the day she walked away from Juilliard. Since the day her mother's medical bills started piling up and dreams became luxuries she couldn't afford. She doesn't realize she's crying until Kenshin speaks from the doorway. I couldn't sleep either. He moves into the room like he's entering a mausoleum. This was my brother's piano. Ichiro. The name comes out rough, the unpracticed. He died when I was 23. He was 19. Brain aneurysm. No warning. Just gone. Kenshin runs his hand along the piano's edge, not quite touching the keys. He was the talented one, the artist. He composed music, wrote poetry, lived like every moment mattered. My father wanted him to join the business, but Ichiro refused. They fought the night before he died. Kenshin's hand finally rests on the keys without pressing them. I became the son my father wanted. Dutiful, obedient. Everything Ichiro refused to be. I've been living his unlived life, honoring his rebellion by surrendering completely. It's fucked up, I know. Wanda sits beside him on the bench, their shoulders nearly touching. I had a full scholarship to Juilliard, she hears herself say. Piano performance. My mother. She cleaned houses for 20 years, saving money for my training. She never wanted me to end up like her, working herself to death for pennies. The words come faster now. Then she got sick. Same thing Amara has now. Genetic disorder, expensive as hell to treat. Insurance covered nothing. I had 2 weeks before Juilliard's deadline. I spent them in hospitals, watching my mother die, drowning in medical bills. She made me promise I'd go, that I wouldn't sacrifice my dreams for her. Wanda's voice breaks. I promised, and the day after her funeral, I called Juilliard and turned down the scholarship. Started working 3 jobs. Been running from music ever since because every note reminds me of her. They sit in silence, 2 people buried under the weight of ghosts they can't escape. And then Kenshin does something that changes everything. He takes her hand, her calloused, exhausted hand, and places it gently on the piano keys. Play for him, he says quietly, for Ichiro, for your mother, for everyone we couldn't save. Wanda's fingers tremble on the keys. I can't. I haven't played in 5 years. I don't even know if I remember. Then play badly. Kenshin interrupts. Play wrong. Just play. And Wanda, who has spent 5 years refusing, who has built walls around the part of herself that still dreams, lets her fingers find the opening notes of Chopin's Nocturne No. 20, the one her mother loved. The first notes are terrible, hesitant, rusty, 5 years of neglect evident in every mistake. But then muscle memory kicks in, and the music starts flowing. It's not perfect. She hits wrong notes, loses the rhythm twice. But it's real, and it's hers. And it's the first honest thing she's done since her mother died. When she finishes, her face is wet with tears she doesn't remember crying. Kenshin is staring at her with an expression she can't read. You're extraordinary, he says, and his voice is rough with something that sounds like wonder. And Wanda realizes 2 things simultaneously. 1. She's not pretending anymore. The way she feels about this man, sitting beside her in the wreckage of their shared grief, that's terrifyingly real. And 2. He's looking at her the exact same way. The fake relationship just became something neither of them knows how to handle, and there are still 24 days left on their 30-day contract. Kenshin's father summons him like a king demands his subjects' presence. The executive boardroom at Honda Industries is all glass and steel, designed to intimidate. Honda Takeshi sits at the head of the table, silver-haired and stone-faced, surrounded by board members who look at Kenshin like he's a disappointing investment. "You will marry Sakura Tanaka within 30 days, Takeshi announces without preamble. "The merger with Tanaka Corp depends on this family alliance. 10,000 employees are counting on you to do your duty." The board votes. Unanimous. Marry the approved bride or be removed as CEO. Kenshin feels the trap closing. "And if I refuse?" His father's smile is cold. "Then you lose everything. The company, your position, your brother's legacy that you've worked so hard to honor." The last part lands like a knife between his ribs, perfectly aimed. While Kenshin's drowning in corporate warfare, Wanda's phone rings. Amara's doctor. "Miss Zuri, your sister's latest scans show accelerated deterioration. We need to schedule surgery within 30 days or—" He doesn't finish. He doesn't have to. The cost, $200,000. Wanda's savings, $4,000. Insurance coverage, laughable. She's still reeling when Kenshin returns to the penthouse, his composure cracked for the first time since she met him. They circle each other like wounded animals, both carrying impossible news they can't share. Until midnight, when the walls finally break. 30 days, Kenshin says suddenly. "My father gave me 30 days to marry Sakura or lose the company." Wanda's laugh is hollow. "That's funny. My sister's doctor gave me 30 days to come up with $200,000 or watch her die." They stare at each other. "The 10,000 you're paying me?" Wanda continues. "It's not even close to enough. I thought maybe it would buy time, cover a few more months of medication. But the surgery—" She can't finish. Kenshin's jaw tightens. "I could pay for it. The surgery." "With what?" Wanda's voice is sharp. "You just said you might lose everything in 30 days. I have a personal trust fund, separate from the company, from my grandfather. It's enough to cover the surgery." The offer hangs between them, loaded with implications neither wants to examine. "Why would you do that?" Wanda whispers. "We barely know each other. This is fake." Kenshin moves closer. "Is it?" Still. The question lands like a grenade. Wanda thinks about the piano, about his hand on hers, about the way he looks at her when he thinks she's not watching. "I don't know," she admits. "I don't know what this is anymore." "Neither do I," Kenshin says. "But I know I can't watch you lose your sister when I have the means to save her. And I know that 30 days suddenly feels like not nearly enough time." They make a pact that night. They'll face their impossible deadlines together. Kenshin will figure out how to keep his company without marrying Sakura. Wanda will find a way to save Amara that doesn't involve choosing between her sister's life and— she can't even finish the thought. Whatever this thing between them is becoming. They fall asleep on the couch, not quite touching, both knowing they're lying to themselves about being able to solve this. Because the real problem isn't the 30 days or the money or the corporate warfare. The real problem is that somewhere between the fake relationship and the shared grief and the music at 3 a.m., they fell for each other. And love doesn't fix medical bills or board votes or fathers who view their children as chess pieces. If anything, it makes everything infinitely more complicated. And tomorrow, Honda Ayami is going to call with information that will blow their carefully constructed world apart. The knock comes at 10 a.m. Wanda answers the door to find Honda Ayame standing there with a folder that looks far too thin to contain someone's entire life, but somehow does. "We need to talk," Ayame says, walking past her without invitation. She spreads documents across the dining table like tarot cards predicting doom. Wanda's Juilliard application from 5 years ago, her mother's death certificate, hospital bills, the scholarship refusal letter. "You were remarkable," Ayame says, not looking up. "Perfect scores on your audition. The adjudicators called you a once-in-a-generation talent. They wanted you so badly they offered full tuition plus living expenses." Wanda can't breathe. "How did you—" "I remember your mother," Ayame interrupts. "15 years ago, I gave a masterclass in Chicago. She approached me after he asked about her daughter's potential. Showed me a video of you playing Rachmaninoff at 12 years old." Ayame finally meets her eyes. "I told her you had the gift, that you could be extraordinary if properly trained. I promised I'd watch for your application to Juilliard, that I'd mentor you myself." Her voice cracks slightly. "I forgot. Concert tours, recordings, my own son's education. I forgot. And 6 months after that masterclass, your mother was diagnosed. 3 years later, she was dead." The guilt in Ayame's eyes is devastating. "I failed her," she says simply. "I made a promise to a dying woman and forgot about it until I saw your hands at the gala. I've spent the last week confirming what I already knew, that you sacrificed everything for your sister, that you're working yourself to death the same way your mother did, that you're extraordinarily talented and completely wasted." She opens another folder. "I'm going to make you an offer, and I need you to truly consider it. Full payment for your sister's surgery, $200,000, wired today. Reinstatement to Juilliard with my personal recommendation. A stipend for living expenses so you can actually study instead of working yourself into an early grave." Wanda's heart is hammering. It's everything. Everything she's needed. Everything she's dreamed of. Everything she sacrificed 5 years ago. What's the catch? Ayame's expression hardens. "You leave my son. Completely. Tonight. You disappear from his life and allow the marriage to Sakura to proceed as planned. The company merger happens. 10,000 jobs are saved. Kenshin fulfills his duty." She leans forward. "I know you care about him. I see it when you look at each other. But this relationship is going to destroy him. His father will dismantle everything Kenshin has built. The company his brother died never getting to reject. Gone. And for what? A few months of happiness before reality crashes down?" Wanda feels sick. "You want me to choose between my sister's life and—" She can't finish. "I'm offering you both," Ayame cuts in. "Your sister lives. You reclaim your dreams. Kenshin keeps his company and honors his brother's memory. Everyone gets what they need." She stands. "You have 48 hours. After that, I withdraw the offer and take a different approach." The threat is unspoken but clear. If Wanda doesn't take the deal, Ayame will destroy this relationship anyway. She'll just make sure no one gets what they want in the process. After she leaves, Wanda sits among the scattered papers of her former life. Application essays she wrote at 17 about her dreams, her mother's death certificate, the scholarship letter she never sent. The offer is everything. It's salvation. It's betrayal. It's the choice her mother begged her not to make, sacrificing herself for family. Except this time, accepting help means destroying the man she's fallen for. She's still sitting there when Kenshin comes home and sees the documents. His face goes carefully blank as he reads. "She made you the offer," he says flatly. Not a question. Wanda nods, unable to speak. "And you're considering it." She meets his eyes. "My sister is dying, Kenshin. This money could save her life." "I know," he says quietly. "You should take it." The words hang like a death sentence between them. "You don't mean that." Wanda whispers. I do. Kenshin lies, and they both know it. Your sister matters more than whatever this is between us. But his hands are shaking, and Wanda realizes they're both about to make the noble sacrifice, push each other away to save each other's futures. Unless they find the courage to fight for something different. 48 hours. The clock is already ticking. Kenshin finds out about Ayami's offer not from Wanda, but from Takashi, who heard it from the private investigator Ayami hired. The betrayal, not that the offer exists, but that Wanda didn't immediately tell him, hits like a physical blow. He finds her on the balcony at midnight, staring at the city like it holds answers. Were you going to tell me? His voice comes out harder than intended. She doesn't turn around. I don't know. Were you going to tell me your board voted to remove you if you don't marry Sakura? Takashi mentioned it. The fight that follows is inevitable, brutal. All the things they've been too careful to say exploding at once. You were planning to take her money and disappear, Kenshin accuses. This was always fake, right? So why hesitate? Wanda whirls on him. Why do you care? We agreed on 30 days. You pay me, we walk away. My sister dying doesn't change the contract. Don't, he says sharply. Don't pretend this is still fake. Don't pretend you don't feel what I feel when we're alone at 3 a.m. and you're playing piano like your heart is breaking. What do you feel, Kenshin? Wanda's voice cracks. Tell me, because from where I'm standing, this is a billionaire playing house with someone he'll forget the second she's inconvenient. It's cruel, designed to hurt, and it lands perfectly. Kenshin steps closer, his composure finally shattering completely. I feel like I've been living a half-life since my brother died and you walked into my car and reminded me what it means to actually breathe. I feel like the idea of you leaving makes me want to burn my father's company to the ground just to have an excuse to follow you. I feel like I stopped pretending to care about you somewhere, around the second time I heard you laugh, and I don't know how to go back. The confession hangs between them like a live wire. Wanda's crying now, tears streaming down her face. I can't choose you, she whispers. Loving you feels like killing Amara. How do I choose between my sister's life and me? Kenshin finishes. You're trying to figure out if I'm worth your sister's life, and the answer is no. I'm not. You should take the money. He says it like a death sentence. But before you do, I need you to know something. He frames her face with his hands, and his voice drops to something raw and honest. I love you. I've loved you since you played my brother's piano with those broken, beautiful hands. I love the way you count tips like they're lifelines. When I love that you're terrified of needing anyone but you needed me anyway. And I know you love me too. Wanda's breath catches. Kenshin. Don't say it, he interrupts. Don't say it unless you mean it. Unless you're ready to fight for this instead of being noble and self-sacrificing and doing what everyone expects. They're inches apart now, the entire city sprawled below them, and Wanda makes a choice. She kisses him. Not gentle, not tentative, desperate and real and entirely certain. They barely make it to his bedroom, shedding expensive clothes and careful control, making love like the world is ending. Which, in a way, it is. Afterward, lying in tangled sheets with city lights painting shadows across their skin, Kenshin traces the calluses on her fingers. If we only get this one night, he says quietly, I'll take it. And I'll remember it for the rest of my life. Wanda's heart breaks because he's already accepting her leaving, already grieving what they're about to lose. What if I don't take the money? She whispers. What if we figure this out together? Kenshin pulls her closer. Then we're choosing each other over 10,000 jobs, and your sister's surgery, and my mother's guilt, and everything sensible people would do. I've never been sensible, Wanda admits. Me neither, Kenshin says, and kisses her like he's memorizing the taste of hope. They fall asleep wrapped around each other, both knowing tomorrow the real world crashes back in. Both knowing love isn't enough to solve medical bills or corporate coups. But maybe, just maybe, it's enough to fight for. The deadline is in 40 hours, and neither of them has any idea how to win. Kenshin makes arrangements Wanda doesn't know about. Calls a small music hall in Lincoln Park, contacts Wanda's old Juilliard professor, invites music journalists who owe him favors. He's arranging a showcase, a chance for Wanda to play publicly, to reclaim the dream she sacrificed. He'll tell her tonight, after the board meeting where he plans to resign rather than marry Sakura. He's choosing her. The company can burn. But first, this gift. This moment of her brilliance on display. Except at 2 p.m., while Kenshin's in that boardroom fighting his father, Wanda gets a call that changes everything. Amara collapsed. Ambulance, Cook County Hospital, critical condition. Wanda's still in the dress she was supposed to wear to the showcase. Deep red silk, another gift from Kenshin, meant for triumph. Now it's soaked with her sister's blood from the emergency room, from holding Amara's hand while doctors shouted medical terminology that all means the same thing. Dying. She's failing. Rapidly. Surgery needed immediately. $200,000. Authorization required now. Wanda breaks completely. I don't have it, she sobs to a doctor who's heard this before, who looks at her with practiced pity. I can't save her. I can't. That's when they all arrive, drawn by some terrible gravitational pull of crisis. Kenshin, jacket abandoned, tie loose, racing from his board meeting. Ayami, elegant even in her horror. Takeshi, stone-faced until he sees his son's expression. Sakura, the arranged bride, looking at this chaos with something like understanding. They converge in a waiting room that smells like antiseptic and desperation. The doctor repeats his question. Do you have authorization for the surgery? We need an answer now. Wanda can't speak, can't breathe, can't do anything but shake her head. Ayame steps forward. I'll pay. No conditions, no deals. I've failed this family once. I won't do it again. But Kenshin is already moving. Phone out, speaking rapid Japanese to his banker. No, he says firmly. I'll pay. Liquidate my personal trust. Wire $200,000 to Cook County Hospital immediately. Authorization code. He rattles off numbers while Ayami stares at him. Kenshin, that's your entire inheritance from your grandfather. That's... I know what it is. He interrupts, still on the phone. Do it. Now. The banker confirms. Money's being wired. Surgery authorized. Doctors move into action. In the chaos, no one notices Amara wake slightly, her eyes finding Wanda. Her voice is barely a whisper, but it cuts through everything. Wanda, stop dying for me. The words hit like a bullet. I see you, Amara continues, each word costing her. Working yourself to death. No music, no life, just sacrifice. Like Mom. Tears stream down her face. I'd rather die than watch you become her. The heart monitor spikes and doctors rush in, pushing everyone out. They take Amara to surgery and Wanda collapses into a chair, Kenshin's arms around her. She realizes three things at once. Amara's been suffering watching her sacrifice. Kenshin just gave up his entire inheritance without hesitation. And in the corner, Ayame is crying silent tears. For Wanda's mother, for promises broken, for the cost of always choosing duty. The surgery takes 6 hours. When the doctor emerges, his expression is cautiously optimistic. She's stable, surgery successful. She'll need extensive follow-up care and likely more surgery in 6 months, but for now, she's going to be okay. The relief is overwhelming. Kenshin's trust covered the immediate surgery, though the long-term costs will still be significant. Wanda's showcase was 3 hours ago, missed completely, but she can barely think about it through the exhaustion and gratitude. And somewhere in the hospital, A nurse who recognized the famous CEO recorded a video of Kenshin and Wanda holding each other while everything fell apart. A video that's about to go viral and change everything. Wanda doesn't remember leaving the hospital, doesn't remember Kenshin trying to stop her, or Ayami's voice calling her name. She just walks, still in the blood-stained dress, until she finds herself at Millennium Park. There's a piano here, public, weathered, available to anyone. It starts raining. She doesn't care. She sits at the bench, places her broken hands on the keys, and begins to play Chopin's Nocturne number 20, the piece her mother loved. The piece she hasn't played in public since the day she walked away from Juilliard. Her fingers are rusty. She hits wrong notes. 5 years of grief pour out through imperfect music, rain soaking her hair, her dress, running mascara down her cheeks. She plays for her mother, who died telling her to live. For Amara, who begged her to stop sacrificing. For Kenshin, who gave everything without hesitation. For herself, the girl who had dreams before duty crushed them. The music builds, raw and real and absolutely imperfect. Beautiful because it's honest. She doesn't see Kenshin approach until he sits beside her on the bench. Doesn't see him until his hands join hers on the keys, playing harmony to her melody. He's playing Ichiro's composition, the one his brother wrote before he died, the one Kenshin could never bring himself to finish. Together they create something neither could alone, a duet in the rain. No words, just music that says everything they can't. Around them, a crowd gathers. Phones out, recording this moment. A destroyed billionaire and a waitress in a blood-stained dress, playing piano in the rain like the world isn't ending. The music crescendos, crashes. He resolves into something that sounds like hope or surrender or both. When the last notes fade, Kenshin turns to her. I resigned, he says quietly. From the company, from my father's expectations, from Ichiro's unlived life. I chose you. Wanda's crying again. I can't let you give up everything for me. You're not letting me do anything, Kenshin says. I'm choosing. For the first time in my life, I'm actually choosing. He kisses her forehead. I chose you. I'll always choose you. I chose me, Wanda whispers. Finally chose me. And I choose you. They sit there, soaked and broken and somehow whole. By tomorrow, the video will go viral, millions of views, thousands of comments. Billionaire CEO plays piano in rain with mystery woman. It'll force conversations about class, sacrifice, duty versus desire. Crowdfunding campaigns will explode, strangers wanting to help save Amara, to support Wanda's music education. The viral moment becomes their salvation in ways they never expected. 6 months later, Wanda stands on the stage at Millennium Park, performing for a sold-out crowd. She's back at Juilliard part-time, working with Ayami, who became the mentor she promised to be 15 years too late. Amara's in the front row, healthy and crying proud tears, starting college on a scholarship Ayami created in their mother's name. Kenshin's in the audience too, no longer CEO, but running a foundation that funds artists and medical patients, turning his family's wealth into actual good. Ayami sits beside him, slowly learning to see love as strength rather than weakness. After the performance, Wanda finds Kenshin at the same public piano where everything changed. It's not raining this time. The sun is setting, painting the Chicago skyline in gold. Hey, she says, sitting beside him. Hey, he replies, and they play together. Not Chopin this time, but something new Kenshin composed, something that sounds like second chances. Think we made the right choice? Wanda asks. Kenshin takes her hand. I think we made the only choice that mattered. We chose each other. We chose ourselves. He kisses her, soft and certain. Sometimes the wrong taxi takes you exactly where you need to go. And as the sun sets over Chicago, two people who were drowning in duty finally learn to breathe. Finally learn that love isn't about sacrifice. It's about choosing to build something better together. The music continues. The story isn't perfect. But it's real, and it's theirs. And that's everything. Thank you for listening. Kindly hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell to get updates whenever we release new stories.